Hey, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome to our story. Today is a really exciting video. We've been wanting to bring this video to you for some time now. Chris, take it away.
So this one has been a long time coming. This is how we paid off our 30-year mortgage in 10 years.
Bam. What you think about that?
So I won't say this journey has been easy.
Oh.
And we definitely did not agree the whole time along the way.
Correct.
We had some differences of opinions, but we came together and we made it happen. And that's what we want to talk to you about today, about how we did it and how, if you want to, how you can do the same thing.
All right, the first thing we want to discuss is the evolution of being debt-free. Now, we started off in this journey, we started talking about it heavily in 2008 during the housing bubble. And that was a very traumatic time for us and for a lot of people across the country. Yeah. And that is when we decided, hey, we need to take a serious approach about this and really get debt free. And I think it evolved over time because, originally we just were like, we wanted to be debt free, but we weren't exactly sure how we were going to do it. And I know you had an idea about that. And I wanted to pay off the largest debt that we had first, but you had a different idea on how we were going to do that. So you want to tell them how we approached that?
So that is not what happened. So in 2008, during the housing crisis, we've been lifelong renters. We've moved around from different military installation to military installation. But when that happened, we saw that the rental market went crazy.
Yeah.
We couldn't find a place to live to save our lives.
No, we couldn't.
And also because of the housing market, there was a lot of uncertainty. Yeah. So we made a decision that we wanted to buy something. We wanted to get a piece of property, something that no matter what happened in the economy, we knew we owned it we owned it 100% and no one can take it away from us.
That's right.
So in 2011, once we recovered from the 2008 bubble, we had all our savings back in place. We had, we were settled on our jobs. So we had some stability. We went out and looked into the rental market and we found a rental property when we can live in one side and rent the other side.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's very expensive to do.
Yes.
So we found a little property. It wasn't our dream property, but it met our needs. And that's the first thing I want to say about doing this. When you want to do something like this, you got to understand, this may not be your dream property.
Yeah.
It's not going to be all the things you see on HGTV. It's not going to have the plantation shutters, the wainscot, the white picket fence. But as long as it makes the cash registers ring, it's a good property.
Oh, yeah.
So in 2011, we found this small property. We moved in there. She definitely
did not like it. Because first of all, it made my drive a lot longer. I was commuting an hour and 15 minutes one way. So I was like, what's going on here? Yeah. I wasn't very happy about it, but I knew what the long-term goal was. And I knew in order to reach that, there were some steps that we had to check off first, right? Some things on the checkbox to do that. And so I wanted to support that process. And so I took the longer drive so that we could initiate that process there.
Because part of buying a property and paying it off early is finding something affordable.
Right.
And finding something that will produce the passive income. And to do that, we had to buy a property that was a little further away from her work. Yeah. And I'm super happy that she made that sacrifice so that we can achieve something like this. Mm-hmm. So we bought that first property. And like I said, it was expensive, so we had to finance it. Now, Stephanie has always been a big advocate of being debt-free.
Oh, yeah.
Me, not so much. Me, I'm more about leveraging all forms of asset. If you got to leverage debt to make a goal happen, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
However, I will yield to her that she made a good decision to keep that bottom line in the forefront of our mind so we can make that happen.
Yep.
So we bought the property. It was super expensive. We financed it.
Yes.
And to me, I said, okay, we'll let that debt ride. I don't want to tie up liquid assets on a property that we don't know if we're going to keep for the long term.
Oh, yeah.
We just want to have something that we know that we own, that no one can come and take away from us.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, you don't have savings if you have debt.
Hey, that's what Susie Orman says.
And I was like, I don't want to tie up a couple $100,000 on a property. We can use that money to buy other properties that help pay this property off later on.
Okay, and I agreed with that.
And for a long time, she agreed with that.
Yeah.
And we were able to use the liquid assets that we were not tying up and paying the house off to acquire quite a few other properties.
Correct.
And it was a good deal because we made a lot of money leveraging those resources.
Yeah.
But we got to a point to where I'm about to transition out of the Army, and just like 2008, we really don't know what the future holds.
And I kept saying, when we're gonna pay off the property.
Yes.
When we're gonna pay off the property. I would always ask at least maybe 2 or 3 times a year, when we're gonna pay off the property. I know you had to have gotten really annoyed.
Every time we were about to buy another property, here she was. Can we use some of that money to pay down the debt on the first property, on the one property we have a loan on? I'm like,
right.
We can.
But
if we put that money into the market, it'll make money for us.
And it made sense. It did. Yeah. So I couldn't really argue with that.
But it also made sense that now that we're in a place to where we've created enough passive income to generate enough money that we don't have to really worry about where our next paycheck's coming from, to go ahead and eliminate that debt so we can truly have this place as what it was initially intended to be. A place that we can go to and no one can ever come to us and say, hey, listen, you owe us money for that.
Yes.
Now we own multiple properties that we can do this, but it's good to have the one property that we did have financed 100% paid off. And I'm happy to say that we paid this bad boy off. We are officially debt free. No one on this planet can call us and say, hey,
you owe us.
You owe us this.
This long-term debt, right?
Hey, your payment is due on the 1st. No.
Hurry it up.
So now
tell them about the idea you had, though, because I thought it was ingenious. I was like, okay, so we got the other properties, we paid cash for those, but we still had this outstanding debt on our first property because we had to. That's how we got our start. And I was like, okay, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to pay it off? And you had an ingenious idea on how to do this. So can you tell our followers exactly what your idea was?
So if I'm understanding what you're understanding correctly, we basically took the rent from the other properties and just use that rent to pay off the other property.
Yep, so we put it all together, and every month we just pool that money together, right? Along with what we were making as well, that we put to the side as well.
Because the rental property itself was producing twice the amount of the monthly mortgage payment.
Right.
And that's including the escrow account, so the insurance, the taxes, and the principal was all being paid double by the tenants. And then we used the profits from the other properties to double down. And we've always paid extra payments here and there. We've always paid more than what the principal payment was. So, but we didn't pull any money out of our own pockets to pay this property off.
And I was like, man, that's ingenious. So how long would you say from the time the ink dried on all that paperwork to purchase our property, from the time we paid it off, how long did it take us?
10 years exactly.
10 years exactly.
About 9 years and 8 months to be exactly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and it worked out perfectly.
Oh yeah.
Because like I say, initially it was not our plan to do this. Like I say, I didn't know if we were going to hold that property long term or if we were just going to hold it, let it gain some equity and then sell it for the equity. But the property, everybody sees what's going on in the market right now.
It's off the chain.
The value of properties are going through the roof. And that's kind of how what we paid went off. Because one thing that I learned along the way is that sometimes a failure is not a failure. It's just not your time.
That's right.
Because we made our last payment on this property last week. And what we got the money from was from selling the property that wasn't performing.
Crazy, right?
And a year ago, we had put this property on the market, tried to sell it, priced it very aggressively. We didn't get one bite, not one. And we called around. People kept calling me out of the blue, like, hey, you want to sell your property? Hey, you want to sell your property? I'm like, that's a scam. It's going to be some catch to it. So Stephanie's like, well, let's just call the guy who sold us the property, pick their mind and see what they have to say about it. And they say, more than likely they're trying to hustle you, but the property is worth a lot more than what you initially paid for that property. So when what's going on right now happened, we put the house right back on the market.
Took advantage of it.
For twice as much as what we paid for.
Work smart, not hard.
In 24 months, we were going to get twice the amount of money back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So we initially thought that was a failure because we couldn't sell this property that we felt like was underperforming and did not reflect our portfolio.
Yeah.
we thought it was a failure, but now we turned around, sold the property, took the proceeds from that sale, put it with the rental money that we were already getting, and paid the property off.
And you have to remember, we did a video about this, but who knows what's good or bad? So you never really know. Things may seem bad, but they actually turn out to be something good.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Now, one thing I want to hit on, and I think this is extremely important, because we wanted to kind of share with you about how we did it. And I think a major part of how we did that is having money versus managing money, okay? And I know that that's very general, but let me break it down for you, okay? I have found over the years that it's not that people don't have money, is that they just don't manage their money well. And don't get me wrong, I know it's tough out here,
Yes.
and not everybody has the option or the ability to do additional things. So they have kids that they have to take care of, they got aging parents that they have to take care of, or they're not making as much as they would like to. So I totally recognize those things.
It's
I'm
tough in
only
these
speaking,
streets.
yeah, I'm only speaking to the people who have the money, but they're just kind of mismanaging. And honestly, that is how we took advantage of this particular situation, and how we were successful is because over the years, we've learned how to manage our money. And I tell people all the time, it's in the struggle, you know, because we've had to give up a lot of things.
Make a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah, not going to the mall, what else? Not buying that brand new mixer, KitchenAid mixer.
Let me tell it. So me, I love to vacation. That's my thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So when I see those rental payments, that rent payment come in, I'm like, ooh, that looked like just enough to go on a nice vacation. I've been wanting to go back, take an African vacation for a while now.
Oh yeah.
But I had to say, no, that is not the plan right now. Those things will come.
Oh yeah.
Just not today.
Yes.
You know, when we went to the Bass Pro Shop, and I'm looking at boats like, ooh, that's nice.
Poles,
that's nice.
You go into the golfing section.
Go to the golf pro shop. I'm like, okay, I'm due for some new clubs. You know, but making that decision to say no, I'm going to go ahead and take this L right now,
right,
so that I can have that long-term victory,
right?
Because I got partners who have all the toys, garage chucked full of stuff.
Boats, what they call the four-wheelers.
Yeah, the four-wheelers, the boats,
bikes,
the brand new golf clubs,
then
fishing
they
rods.
Come out, they get it every year, and
brand new road bikes. And if that's what makes you happy, do
all
you.
means.
You know,
do
I am not telling you how to live your life.
By all means.
However, I am a very analytical person. You know, I live in the moment, but I also have foresight to see what's coming down the line. And if 2008 and 2020 did not show you that some effort needs to be put into some safeguards, I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
But I am extremely happy that Stephanie was willing to come on this journey with me to make this possible, to be able to pay that 30-year mortgage off in 20 years, to cut the costs.
10 years, you mean?
In what did I say?
20.
Oh, wow, yeah.
What's that all about?
To pay that 30-year mortgage off in 10 years. So, I mean, it's an extreme blessing.
It is.
Because there were many different places that we could have stopped. You know,
a lot of parking lots along the way. That's what we tell our daughter. We say, it's a lot of places to take a break. I'm going to tell you, it is. And I will tell you, just as an example, we bought our road bikes. I can't remember when we bought them. They're about 10 years old now. And I go out there road biking, out on the trail, and I meet people all the time. I think, they just got a new road bike this year. They're going to have a new road bike next year. And they ask me, how long you had your road bike? 10 years. And I'm going to keep on fixing it, because there are other things that we want to do to continue that success later on down the line. And also, too, now it's built in, right? So I practiced. So now that's all I know how to do is save the money. But I do want to end this video with a very, I don't know, it's funny now, the story.
Well, before we get into that, I really want to make sure that I do a good job of articulating that this is possible. You know, the way we did it was we leveraged passive income to make this happen. We bought those other rental properties. Like I always say, the main way to make things happen is to get in there and start doing it. We did not want to take out a 30-year mortgage. That is not how we wanted to make it happen, but it's the only way we knew to make it happen. So we had to do it. And in doing so, it taught us some very good lessons. We met some very knowledgeable people who were very willing to pass those lessons along. So if you want to repeat these actions, these are the steps that I would recommend you doing. Sitting down with your significant other, making sure that you are on the same page. And you all may not be on the same page, probably will not be on the same page, but finding that middle ground to where both people are happy, because this is the long game. If you don't have buy-in from both parties, you probably will not be able to sustain it. But if you find a happy medium, you'll be able to stick to the plan.
Oh, yeah.
Then you want to look at everything that you want to achieve. Map out those benchmarks. And when you come across adversity, understand that adversity may not be a failure. It just may not be your time, or it just may mean you need to take a harder look to see if you're taking the right actions. Because we can definitely attest. There was sometimes we wanted to make a decision that in the moment initially looked like it would be a great idea. But when we followed the path a little longer, we saw that, man, if we would have went that direction, we would have missed out on a huge blessing down the line.
Oh, yeah.
Next, you need to look at your finance. Identify those things that you want and do not need. Try to eliminate that, because every success that I've ever had was made possible because the sacrifices I made along the journey.
Of course.
So if you identify the things that you want and don't need and eliminate them, go ahead and make that sacrifice. That's more money you can send out of the house to pay off that mortgage.
Oh, yeah.
And lastly, make sure that you understand the difference between liquid assets and non-liquid assets. Because not all liquid assets are good, and not all non-liquid assets are good. That money in that house was not money spent. We could have sold it at any time and got that equity out of there and used it elsewhere. And all the liquid assets that we had was not always good. You can leave money in the bank and make 1% and lose it just in inflation. But make sure that you're leveraging both liquid assets and non-liquid assets appropriately. I think we did a very good job by not paying the house off early, because we could have paid it off early.
Yeah.
But we used those assets to buy other properties, so that now that the house is paid off, we've created a lot of passive income so that we can continue to reap the benefits from the work that we've done over the past 10 years.
Very strategic is what it sounds like. Very strategic, step by step. Sounds like you just need to have a plan. And then his favorite line is, get up and take action.
Get up and take action.
I will say that is very good advice, and thank you so much for giving that advice to our followers. It's just really nice to kind of let them know step by step on exactly how it's done. I do want to end this particular video with the story. Is a funny story now when we look back on it, but it was not funny when this thing first started. So when we were looking at selling that particular property, we put it on the market. Within a week, we got a couple of offers. We decided to go with a particular offer, and we were just kind of jumping through the hoops that you typically jump through when you go to sell a property. Well, all in all, we spent about 4 to 6 weeks on it, and it fell through.
Yeah.
And so, we were, just to be transparent, we were extremely disappointed because we were like so excited, went on the market. We thought, okay. And we understood that it was the beginning of the process. And that's a long process when you're selling a house, but it was a huge letdown. And so we had to take it back off the market.
And they were offering a lot of money for that property.
Yeah. So it was a pretty big
lot. So.
Yeah. But we kept our hopes up, and we put it, how long did we wait? A week or two. And then we got it back out on the market. And the same amount of interest, really good interest. We got a couple of different offers, and one which was really good offer. We thought, okay, we're going to go with these people. And then, we started jumping through the hoops, and I just kept my fingers crossed because I'm like, really, want this to happen so we can pay off the house. I was really excited about being debt free because it's something that we've been working towards since 2008. And so we kept jumping through the hoops. Everything was going well, and boom, before you know it, we're getting the house sold. We're going to the table, the virtual table, because of the COVID and everything like that. And then what happens?
They lost the money.
They lost the money.
They lost the money.
They lost the money. Now, did y'all hear that?
Between the buyer, the title company and us, the money's lost.
They sent the money, they wired the money to a different bank.
And they looking at us like, where's the money? I'm like, we ain't seen the money.
They said the money was going to be in our account within 24 hours. And 3 days later, we're like, we ain't got the money.
Now, if you know like I know, a wire transfer is quick. It don't take no 24 hours. That bank moves that money fast. And so when it didn't come within a couple hours, I'm
I
like,
was getting worried.
Something's wrong here.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, we done been through all of these hills and barriers, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? So I get on the phone. Krishana's on the phone with the bank. I'm on the phone with the title company, and we're looking for our money.
Yeah, because everybody's happy but us.
Right.
The seller, they
happy, they got their house.
They going through the closing process. They walking around their new house, planning the decorations and how they going to rent it out. The title company been paid, but we looking like, where's our money?
Right. So I'm like, what's going on? So we get back through and we figure out that the account number was correct, but the routing number was wrong.
Yeah.
And I wasn't upset. I was trying to be patient and everything. But that was tough,
so
man.
Let me clarify
I'm like,
that.
Can we get that money back? Like, how do we get our money back?
Let me clarify that. So we sent the right information.
Oh yeah, we sent the right information.
But when they looked at the information, like, oh, that's not right. This is the routing.
This is the routing. Instead of calling, they didn't call us to verify that though.
Yeah. So the money is just in limbo.
In outer space.
Yeah. But luckily everybody came together and they got me my money.
Right.
Because I would have hated to have to make that long flight down and to talk to them in person about my money.
This story is very important because what we want the viewers to know, right, Krishana, what we want you guys to know is that don't give up, right? We got to the very end. It just seemed like just barrier on top of barrier on top of barrier. Everything that could get in the way did. When I talked to the young lady, very nice lady at the title company, that said she'd been working in titles for over 20 years. This has never happened to her. And so just trying not to be discouraged. Just remember, stay encouraged. Don't get discouraged. Life will get in the way. Have a plan and things will work out. Just stay the course. So I don't know if you guys have heard anybody say that in the past, but it is true.
Just stay the course.
Find a way to stay the course and it will work out.
And that is so important because when you're trying to pay your mortgage off early, they are not going to make it easy.
No.
What's funny is that we were just laughing about this before we got on camera. When we made the last payment to the bank.
Oh yeah, that was a debacle as well.
So we have been making mortgage payments to this company for 10 years.
Right.
But just shy of 10 years now. Paid extra here and there, made principal payments. Never have they had a problem with taking this money.
Right.
Never. But here we are making the last payment, a sizable payment.
Yes.
I'm like, oh no.
No.
You cannot cut us a check.
No.
You can't pay online.
Right. No.
You can't give us a debit card via phone.
No.
We have very specific instructions and very specific steps that you have to follow. And you have to follow them to the T to pay this mortgage off early.
Yes.
So we're looking like, really?
Right.
We got to go through it. Like they're like, you can send us a certified check. You can send us a wire transfer. You can drive down here and pay us cash.
Right.
But you are not going to make...
You ain't going to just pay it off.
You're not just going to pay it off.
No.
We're going to make it a little harder.
Another barrier.
Yeah. But we were looking like, oh, you going to get this money.
That's all right. That was good. Right.
You're going to get this money.
Yeah. So we'll stay on the phone a little bit longer. It'll take I think it took us a couple of extra weeks, a little bit longer. But we knew ultimately it was going to happen. And we just had to have the patience. So, so we thought we would leave you with that story.
But the point of those stories was this. I want to make sure that we really hit hard of what the underlying message is.
Sure.
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Talk with your significant other and make sure you're all on the same page. Understand that every failure that you encounter may not be a failure. It may be a blessing in disguise. And understand that you can make hurdles, either stumbling blocks or stepping stones.
Right.
It's up to you.
That's right. And we believe in stepping stones. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching this video today. Stay encouraged. Do something nice for someone today, and you can do it.
And remember, we're just ordinary people trying to do extraordinary things.
I love it.
Hey, we're back again.
Hey.
Wanted to give y'all a quick look of what it looks like to pay your mortgage off 20 years early.